What do you mean it was a bad idea to start an LP with school wrapping up? Don't be ridiculous. Anyway, last time on Suikoden, we were given a job by the Emperor himself. Though while Mir's father was proud of him, he did have to leave in the middle of the night. I guess he had to be up bright and early to shout at Joustin or something. Either way, though, while we do have a job, unfortunately that means speaking to Craze again. The first meeting with him was just so pleasant, and I'm sure the second one will be just as so, if not more. I've been busy sleeping. Pawn here really likes murder. Hey, he also thinks about food sometimes. I sure hope we don't get attacked by bandits on the way. That would just be awful. I'd have to stab them a whole lot. Anyway, these two will join us, so before we go, let's check on Ted. Ah, one of those mornings, huh? Okay, well, I guess we'll just leave then. I mean, we really have to be at the castle soon, and I got a whole lot of exploring to do. Well, you wanted to sleep in. Obviously this happens either way, and you don't have to speak to him, but if you do, it just makes him seem a bit more rude. So, last time, since we got all the, usual RPG stat stuff out of the way, let's go over some of the stuff that makes Suikoden a little more unique. First things first, you might notice that we have 6 slots, 5 of them are filled up, and yes, all of those slots are playable characters. We've got way more than your average Final Fantasy game, but also random battles aren't slow. So yeah, we'll be seeing more of that later. More importantly though, we also have formation. The top set of characters are the front row characters, and the bottom characters are the back row characters. Front row characters are the first to be attacked normally, and the back row characters are normally out of most reach. You might also notice the letters next to the character's HP, S, M, and L. S characters are, of course, short-ranged characters. They can only attack from the front row. If you put them in the back, they're almost useless unless they can use magic. M characters can fight from either the front or back row. However, when fighting enemies also have formation. Medium-ranged characters cannot attack back row enemy characters. L, of course, stands for long range, and long-range characters can attack from the front. However, generally their stat distribution is as such that they don't exactly fare well from the front row. Obviously, it varies from character to character, but you'll generally want to keep them in the back. That being said, though, they can attack any character in an enemy party, so they are useful for that. Now, generally, short-range characters are, more hardy, they've got more health or defense. Again, not always true, but usually. Anyway, we're going to explore Gregminster for now. Oh, the Greg Minister. It's Minister Greg. It's actually a title. This is the rune shop. We can attach runes here, and we just so happen to have the prosperity crystal that we got last time. We are going to give this to Gremio, because he's going to be with us for a while. You can also remove runes, which is useful because each character can only have 1 rune. However, the remaining characters cannot equip the clone crystal, neither Mir nor Cleo. Sometimes runes are just incompatible with certain characters. Of course, we could remove Pawn's Boar rune. He comes with that by default. We can find it later through random drops, but not many characters can actually use it. The Boar rune itself is a very powerful rune. It's a physical attack sort of thing. And by the way, you're going to want wing boots. Just FYI, even if you don't grind for money, at the very least look at them. But if you have grinded for money, make sure to buy them, because they're very good equipment. and over here we have items. Anyway, yeah, Borrune will do, I think, 2 times physical damage from a normal attack. However, it does unbalance your character. We'll be getting to that later, but that's a status effect. As for Ted's rune, it seems to be completely mysterious, and you can't use it, so we'll have to see what that is later. Here we only have medicine and antitoxin. Antitoxin, of course, is an item that removes poison. And medicine is, of course, your basic healing item, and I believe it has 6 uses. Well, I don't know where that is either. Just assume that because Mir knows where this milk person's house is, that we also know. Bless him! Bless him! Jeez, don't sound so forceful, man. Alright, so here we have an inn. Inns are important because, of course, you can heal at them. This particular one is free because Marie is, well, very familiar with the McDowell family. Inns are also where you usually save. There are certain save points, but you usually only find them in, like, certain dungeons, not on the world map. Now this is actually a bit of an interesting little bit of backstory. So, he says here that there are 5 Imperial generals after screwing up and saying 6. This is actually a bit of backstory that doesn't come up in the main series itself until Suikoden 5, I think, because that one is a prequel. And in that game, I believe they have all 6 generals, but here it's only 5. Now, there is a lot of supplemental material. I think there might be a drama track and a few short stories. It's really hard to find them, though. Suikoden 1 especially. That being said, though, yeah, if you haven't noticed, this is just, you know, introducing the 5 general... Oh, we can't enter the barrel room. This is introducing the 5 generals, since, you know, technically speaking, Mir should know who they are, but we, the player, don't. So we just have those guys talking about them. It is kind of neat to know a little bit about them beforehand, even if it's mostly just, hey, they're good at sword fighting. That being said, though, we also have a bit of dissent in this hotel. That guy doesn't seem to really care for the economy in this place. Huh, that's weird. This guy, I pity a little less. Ha ha ha, nope. What do you have to say, third identical NPC? So yeah, just a little bit of world building overall in this hotel. Or inn, I suppose. And this room is completely useless. Well, okay then. Anyway, bit of dissent here, which we've seen a little bit of that cropping up here and there, but for the most part it seems like the Empire is a good place, so wonder what was with that guy. Yes, so, here we can identify various objects. From time to time, you will get things from chests or enemies that has a question mark in it, and one enemy happened to drop one, no, it wasn't an enemy, because of course I didn't fight it all last time, it was a chest. So this question mark pot becomes the octopus urn. There are a few uses for these. Nothing too important. I think it's just like an aesthetic thing at one point, or you can just sell them for money. Usually you're going to sell them for money, though. But we'll just hang on to this for now, I suppose. Oh, and this guy's going to introduce blacksmiths, so since there's no blacksmith in this town, I guess I'll just introduce this before we actually get to it proper. But each character in the game has their own unique weapon, rather than weapons being bought from shops, which makes sense, because there are a lot of characters in this game, and it would be a nightmare to manage weapons. As it stands, it's kind of difficult to manage armor as it is, and oh, this is a slightly different house. This is where Milik lives. But yeah, and in order to increase the power of weapons, you have to find a blacksmith who will sharpen your weapon, making it more powerful. Eventually the name of the weapon will change as well, but that doesn't make a difference in anything. Like, it doesn't indicate if the weapon, like, gets a new ability. No, it just indicates that you've sharpened a certain weapon so many times. Oh, and before I forget, certain blacksmiths can only sharpen your weapons so much. I believe level 16 is the max? But yeah, certain blacksmiths early on in the game might only be able to sharpen your weapon up to, like, level 4. And of course, as you go on, it gets more and more expensive. So that was General Milik. He seemed pretty nice. Fashion-minded, of course, but, you know, he took the time to talk to Mir, so it can't be all bad, even if he is a little gaudy. Yeah, like, Gremio has one that's going to make everyone in the world magically have more money than they normally would. Twice, in fact. Exactly 2 times. Really weird how that works out. Either that, or somehow he's doubling the value of the money on the markets? I don't know. We just get more money, that's the point. Yeah, another dude basically said that very same thing. Oh wow, and this guy is super passive-aggressive. Wow, this town's different from my town in Boonies. Yeah, there sure are a whole lot of country bumpkins around here, right? Sir, I'm standing right here. Yep, so many people from the country, all filthy and horrible. I wish they'd just leave. So, this is actually the house of one of the generals we heard about earlier, Sonia. Not gonna try to say her last name because it's not on screen right now. Shulin? I think that's it. So, Sonia and Tio actually have a thing going on. I wouldn't call it subtle, it's kind of obvious. I think if you go here before talking with Ted in your room the previous day, you can actually find Tio talking with Sonia. So yeah, we're just one big happy family. Mir's got a general dad, general mom, dorky dad, cool mom, and Pawn. Actually, I'm going to be working undercover for the man, tra-la-la, etc. Oh, now this is new. We were told he was off to do something about a dispute with Joustin. Okay, so this one random NPC is going to defeat all of the rebels. Good luck there, dude. Ah, well, thanks. I'm sure we'll need to know where the stables are then. Oh, also, cool detail, the music gets louder when you enter the castle. I like that. Okay. Have you been, like, writing fanfiction or something? I don't know why this maid is just so invested in Mir. Oh man, Mir's gonna do some real cool shit when he's older. Trust me, guys, I know it for sure. Maid's intuition. Yep, there's something vague that we don't know about. It sure is Joustin and not rebels. Wait, actually, why would Barbarossa just say that? Oh, we're going to deal with Joustin, wink. Dude, everybody here is in on it. Okay, maybe not that guy. He doesn't seem to like us. What do you know, Craze is already exceeding my expectations. How fantastic. Alright, let's get this over with. I'm glad he won't waste time with us any more than he has to. She has to look really intensely at the stars. Just get a good look at them. Oh, and I love this choice. Northeast, northwest, or somewhere on this earth. I would go for the smartass answer if it weren't Craze, because I don't want to speak to him any more than I have to. But I do like that option. Where is it? Ah, it's gotta be somewhere, though. I mean, really, what is a magician's isle? If you really think about it, it's not as easy a concept as you might think. Oh, well, I guess that's important. Though that is kind of odd, isn't it? I mean, Wendy is the court magician, so why is her sister living all the way out in some island to the somewhere on this planet? Hi, I'm Pawn. I'm really disappointed that I don't get to kill things. I don't know, this sounds like a pretty easy first job. See, Ted has got his priorities in order. Okay, he's saying that like he knows Dragon Knight, so maybe he does. I didn't know you were so well-traveled, Ted. I'm loving those cows right there. Alright, so, about the word punk. Oh, first off, elephant dragon. So anyway, this is Fudge, and the word punk gets used about him a lot. I feel like that's a weird translation, because as good as the word punk is, it doesn't seem to fit. Like, people... Like, it's not as much as attitude. I mean, he does have an attitude, but I don't know, it feels more like it's talking about his stature in that he is fairly small, as is Ted, and also, gee, I wonder what Ted was about to say there. Really strange how he happened to say 300. What could that possibly lead into? And could it have to do with that mysterious thing he was going to tell us yesterday? Who knows? I don't see a basket up there, kid. Actually, kid probably would have worked better than punk. Again, good word, but like, it just feels like a weird translation thing. Actually, no, punk is slowly starting to be more and more apt, actually. But again, they just throw it around so much, I feel it's more about, like, age. I love Elephant Dragon so much. Anyway, we're flying through the skies. There we go. Oh, we're just not here, I guess. Okay. Whoops, Black kinda forgot us. Aw, whoops, left them all behind. Silly me. Do the elephant thing again. Well, he's not going to do the elephant thing. Anyway, since dungeons in Suikoden are fairly straightforward, let's talk about battles. So, these are furs. We have 4 options: fight, run, bribe, and free will. Free will, of course, is auto battle. You know what the rest does. We've also got attack, defend, rune, item, and unite. Unite's an interesting thing, but we'll save that. We're going to use the boar rune. We're going to have mirror attack you, and I think the rest is just going to be standard attacks. Nothing too special to do here. And watch everyone fly. Oh, jeez. Apparently those guys are all faster than we are. Alright, so yeah, that's the boar rune. It's incredibly powerful, but it leaves pawn unbalanced, which basically means you're just going to lose a turn. Okay, so here's the thing they actually improve in Suikoden 2, but you do have to watch everybody's stats go up individually. In addition, experience in this game is kind of like it is in Fire Emblem, in that it always goes up to 1,000. It's just, you know, depending on how powerful you are and how powerful the enemies are, that changes how much experience you get. So yeah, whenever you hit 1,000, you level up. Alright, we have the weakest enemies, not only in the game, but I think just in the series in general, Holly Boys. So we're going to use a Unite attack. Unite attacks are special attacks that, of course, involve uniting 2 characters. Not every character can use them, you do have to have specific characters. Sometimes they have drawbacks, but other times they don't. Like this Unite attack, Talisman attack, just does a lot of damage, and nobody gets like unbalanced or anything, so yeah, Gremio and Pawn, if they are together in a battle, just have a really high damage attack. Alright, so we're done with that, and I think we've more or less covered the basics. We've got Unite, we've got runes. I mean, there are more magic-based runes, which I guess I'll bring up briefly. This game doesn't use MP, it uses spell slots, which I'm not huge on. We're not going to see it for at least a little while, though, because the only rune we have is the Boar rune. Since this field looks vaguely like an arena, we're going to want to heal up. And easy enough. Yep, Medicine has 6 uses, so we have 3 more after that. And who's this jerk? Oh, are you going to get us cake? And he uses a wind rune to summon a Golem. So, the Golem is the first boss. It's incredibly easy, it's fairly slow, it doesn't really have too much in terms of attacks, though it does have the best attack, and you can take him down pretty easily. Doesn't do too much damage, especially if you're me and you... Oh, he did defend that attack completely, though. That being said, Talisman attack's gonna wreck him, and yes, that's his attack, he throws his head at you. But anyway, yeah, super easy, other than the fact that he can just defend an attack. But he doesn't take much to take down. Also, nice. So yeah, first boss of the game, and that wasn't all that difficult. Trust me though, they're not all gonna be that easy. Suikoden kinda goes back and forth in bosses. Sometimes it's got really easy bosses, and sometimes the bosses are just horrendously difficult. Yeah, I can't believe you beat my Golem that was summoned by winds. Oh yeah, good point, Pawn. Why did you try to murder us with a Golem? That is still assault, though. You realize that. Oh, I knew who I was attacking, but I knew you guys wouldn't get a game over or anything. Oh, one major thing I forgot. You might have noticed when the camera zoomed in on enemies when attacking, that means you actually got a critical hit. So yeah, if you ever see a sudden zoom in, that's a crit. It's kinda lame when a long-ranged unit gets a crit because they don't like leap in and attack or anything. It's just zoom in and arrow. It is kind of funny though. I haven't mentioned that the music of this area is fairly good. It's a little bit ominous, not like out and out malicious or anything like that. It's not evil, but you know, it's just vaguely creepy for being in this weird forest and this really tall tower with a whole lot of stairs. I haven't been counting the flights, but it's been more than enough, I think. Why is this place so big? Get a telescope, lady! Oh. About the telescope comments, whoops. Okay, like, why do you and your sister keep hitting on Mir? It's kinda weird. I don't even know you, lady, jeez. Though that being said, you don't have to feel bad about that. I'm fine with the cute thing, it's just when you say that out of the blue, it just comes out of nowhere. I don't like to be blindsided by these things. Yep, there we go. He murdered a Golem and that's good enough. Now he's hungry. See, Cleo, I told you he also thought of food sometimes. Okay then, well, da-da-da-da-da-da. This is the Astral Conclusion Giving Room. I could have given you them outside of the tower, but, you know, I've got to have a whole ceremony about this. You've really got to get the dramatic room. Oh, that's great. I guess Craze is gonna give me a whole lot of shit. That's a really weird way to phrase that. He receives the astral conclusions, as though this is a book that's had, like, a standard narrator? It was like 10 seconds, dude. Besides, she's a seer. She had to tell me about the flow of time and destiny and all that. Well, yeah, it's Pawn. He's always hungry. And always rude as well. Jeez, Pawn. Hey, this jerk did try to kill me with a golem. Not so. I've never tricked anyone in my entire life. Sure is. Alright, and we get the Fire Crystal. That's actually our first magical rune. Now you can equip that on Cleo. She is pretty good as a mage. You don't have to if you don't want to, though. That being said, Mir can't equip that either. I wonder why the main character can't equip a generic rune. How weird. Oh, wow. Now, I was going to say, Fudge wouldn't be that much of a jerk to just leave, but no, he would be that much of a jerk. Da-da-da-da-da-dum. This has been Everyone Hates Ted. See you next week when Ted gets punched repeatedly. Jeez. Alright, fine. Yeah, punk is apt. Hey, the people I have to work with. Just a whole lot of asshole kids. And yet Futch and Luke have both been far more pleasant than Craze. I mean, they're dicks, but they're not Craze, who is the worst. I would love it if this was just the other scene in reverse, and you just saw Black flying backwards. Like all those games where you flip the sprite over and it's just wrong. Like Sonic's plane in the early Sonic games. If that thing flies to the left, nope, Sonic's name isn't correct anymore. Nix. Okay, well, it's mostly just NPCs talking about how great generals are, but have fun. Goodbye, Elephant Dragon. I'll miss you. Alright, let's report back to Craze. Hope we can go back and eat and never have to talk to him again. Maybe we'll get someone else to report to. Who are you? Okay. Do you know who the schmuck is? Yeah, you do realize things take time to happen, right? Like, you can't just get work done instantaneously? Oh, great, we already have another job. Fantastic. Oh yeah, honor. Yeah, love to talk to you. Okay, so, you know how I just said Craze is the worst? I was kind of lying. I mean, Craze is the worst, but Kanan is just this guy. He doesn't even have an important role in the Empire. He is just Craze's assistant. He is the scum beneath the scum. Also, he's the scum that even the scum hates. Craze can't stand his shit either. Why do you think he wasn't here an hour ago? Okay, that sounds easy enough. And hey, maybe he will be better than you. Oh, joy, thanks. Just stick Kanan with us, why don't ya? Oh, great. By the way, have I mentioned yet that one of the major themes of Water Margin is that, like, basically anyone in power is an asshole? Like, I think the only people who are in charge of anything that are, like, not extremely asshole-ish are, like, monks and, like, rich people who just are really nice about helping people. But if they're military officials, yeah, they're probably douchebags. Anyway, though, sadly, we'll have to wait a little while longer to put up with Kanan. He won't be fighting with us, he'll just be in the back, shouting at us a whole lot, and it'll be the worst. But whatever, maybe he can get eaten by coyotes while we're gone. Either way, though, next time on Suikoden, we're gonna be roughing someone up over some taxes. And yeah, I did do a fair bit of grinding and traveling while I was gone. Anyway, yeah, see you next time.